Hey everyone, and welcome into another week of the Daily Reflector's Fearless Football Forecast. I'm Reflector's Prep Sports beat writer Jordan Anders. This is Ronnie Woodward. We're on location this week, Ronnie. It's still hot.
It is.
Still, as we were talking about before we went on, still unseasonably hot for the middle to end of September. But we're at Rose this week. We're at JH Rose. The Rampants coming off a big win. They're also the kind of the premier game for this week, Ronnie, with a Pitt County matchup, conference play starting in the ECC 3A 4A with between Rose and South Central. And we'll break down that game, and we got three other games this week. Rose and South Central, the only home game that's the actual game going on in Pitt County. So
which means you will be there.
I'll be there for that, and means a rare Friday night, not on the football field for Ronnie.
Yep.
Especially coming off a week where you had a game that lasted forever last week.
Out in Winterville, the home lane.
So hopefully a less eventful Friday night, but we'll have reports in Saturday's Reflector from all four games. We'll take a look at all of those right now, and we'll go ahead and start here, Ronnie, where we're at Rose. I can't think of a year in years past where it feels more primed for South Central to finally beat this Rose team. It seems like the Falcons have been trending up. I talked with Coach Dave Wojtecki, who's over there on the practice field with the Rampants as we speak. Talked with him this week about the fact that South Central under Andy 2 has gotten better and better every year. Last year, Rose tried so hard to give this game away when they played at South Central in Winterville. Had a number of turnovers. South Central had a number of chances to try to get the win and wound up coming up a point short. But this year feels a little bit different with the way that the Falcons are playing. They're coming off a win over Hertford County. Rose got their first win of the week last week at Franklinton, which was a very, very desperately needed win for them. But this should be a fun matchup. I'm looking forward to being out here on Friday night, and I think it just, like I said, it feels like everything is lined up for the Falcons. Everything inside me says that Rose is still going to find a way to win this game, because I feel like there is still that mental hurdle there if you're South Central. But I think that I think Rose, because it's at home and because of the way these have gone, I feel like you can't count out. I don't see any way that South Central comes in here and wins by 20 or 30 or anything like that. But I do, just based on the numbers, based on conventional wisdom, I am going to say the Falcons come in here, and it's a fun matchup. They're really explosive on offense. That Rose defense has struggled some with teams like that, so I think South Central comes in here and finally clears that Rose hump and gets a win.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I think you touched on all the different aspects of this game. The interesting thing, just to piggyback on that, the pressure is on South Central.
Mm-hmm.
There's 100%. When you think Pitt County football, even though Rose is down this year, Rose is the team. I know Conley obviously has been good here for a little bit, but Rose is the most recognizable football team, school, data, all the history, the board over there, that's state championships, etc.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be, as we've talked about, this is South Central's year to win, which makes me want to pick Rose, but I'm with you. I just don't think I can. I think just the matchup. I think the pressure is probably on the coaches, South Central's coaches, that, man, they really want to get that win.
Right.
Maybe the players don't think of it the way that me and you do, from a historical side, from the history, from the matchup. They just think they're better, and they're going to go play. I think if that happens, the Falcons win. And I think, again, just from a strictly football standpoint, I'm so hesitant to make this pick because I know Rose will win.
I was in the same
and
same
Dave
way.
Wojtecki is going to give it to us when it happens next week. But this Rose, if I remember correctly, has struggled stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
South Central, I just watched them. McDuffie at quarterback, the running back, Monroe Smith, really, really talented, really good player. I just think they're too good on the ground.
Right.
I think they're just going to score too much points. So I'll take South Central, but you're right. I think it's going to be a fun one. Maybe one of the most interesting games we're going to see all year.
Agreed.
And I'll take the Falcons to win a close one. It's going to take a fight, I think, to do it.
Agreed.
Next game here, North Pitt is at Hertford County. Two teams I've seen a lot of here recently. North Pitt, I saw them twice, back-to-back weeks. They won the first week and have lost since then. But they've been so up and down. We talked about the quarterback, Blango. They made the change. They had some good moments against Aiden Griffin last week, but couldn't pull out that win. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same thing that we've seen from North Pitt for almost 2, 3, 4 years from now. The past 2, 3, 4 years, they've had good moments, but the wins haven't produced or hasn't necessarily followed up. But that said, Hertford County, I wasn't too impressed with last week against South Central. I think they were overmatched a little bit against the Falcons. But I think going in that matchup, they were all about running the ball. Mm-hmm. And then last week they threw it 39 times against South Central. And you could tell at the beginning of the game they wanted to pound it with the big running back. It didn't work. and then they went to the shotgun and were throwing it all over the place. That's why the game took like 8 hours to complete. So I think both of these teams, it's kind of like a matchup of unknowns, or what are you going to get this Friday type of thing, which again makes it an interesting game. I think there's only 4 matchups, or like you said, there's only one in Pitt County, but this is kind of a random, interesting, intriguing type of group of matchups. So as far as my pick, I'll take the Panthers. I still like this North Pitt team.
Right.
I'm going to keep picking them until they win, maybe, unless they're just totally overmatched. I picked them to beat Aiden-Griffin last week. It didn't happen, but they played well, so that was encouraging. But, again, I just wasn't that impressed with Hertford County. I think this is a winnable – at the very least, this is a winnable game for the Panthers. So I'll take North Pitt. They're going to have to play well. The quarterback's going to make some big plays, but I'll take them to go on the road and get a big win.
Right. And like you said, it's funny. These are 2 teams where Hertford just played this game with you that took forever last week. I was at Aiden-Griffin watching North Pitt in a game that, if not for a couple of injuries late, would have been done in less than 2 hours. They just both teams just ran the ball right at each other. The Panthers had had a really good showing, made some big plays on offense, and made some big plays on both sides of the ball. Just weren't able to make the plays in the fourth quarter that they needed to keep Aiden-Griffin from salting it away. But like you said, I like Blanco, Isaiah Blanco, and Tyron Jenkins ran the ball really well.
He's good,
They've gone to the flex bone around that quarterback fullback kind of combination there. So I think with another week this week of working on against a Hertford County team that, like you said, maybe is not as strong as they looked on paper, I'm going to go with you here, and I'm going to go with the Panthers on the road. I think this is their last, if I'm not mistaken, their last game before conference play. They've played well. Again, like we've beat to death all year. Close losses, not losing by 40 or 50 like they were 2 years ago. They are in games consistently now. They just got to make the plays and make the get the breaks at the end to get the win. I think they do that this week. Another team that, speaking of getting some breaks to pick up a win, we stood here last week and talked about Farmville Central and the fact of not even knowing how many kids they were going to show up with at Green Central. And of course, true to form, Scott Gardner and the guys go out and get a big win over Green Central after, I know I picked them to lose. I think you picked them to win.
I think I was tempted. I don't know if I pulled the trigger or not,
then we both picked against them.
I think so.
And like we said, true to form, they go out and turn everything upside down based on how it looks like it's going to go. But this week is a tough matchup. They go on the road to West Carteret, a team that has piled up yards on the ground, piled up points, piled up yards just in general, both through the air and on the ground, but especially on the ground. A really, really good win against Green Central, but like I said, that's a really tough trip. Still, with the personnel questions that Farmville Central has, I'm going to stand here and pick them, and they're probably going to go on the road and win, or pick against them, and they're probably going to go on the road and win, but I think West Carteret picks up the win here.
Okay. I'll go against you. I'll go with the Jaguars. I was impressed by what they did last week. Farmville just finds a way. And, the Carteret County teams in the past, again, no disrespect to this team, they could be really good. I don't know a lot about them, to be honest, and totally candid here. They, early in the year, I think there was either East Carteret or West Carteret a few years ago, or probably 5-6 years ago, was undefeated, and they went to South Central and didn't play well. So it's almost like they've had success early and kind of non-conference, but that they haven't played well against better teams. I think either way this is a close one, but I'll take Farmville and whoever, running backs, whatever. I know they have a JV running back they called up this week, and different guys. They're kind of the way that Scott Gardner does it. They figure out who they can get to make plays. I'll take the Jaguars to pull an upset as well. So I'm going with North Pitt and Farmville on the road. Probably not smart, but I'm going to roll with it. Last game here, I'll take this one. Speaking of on the road again, D.H. Conley is at Eastern Wayne. We've talked about this, Jordan. Eastern Wayne, for the easier to break it down purposes, the best or the better of the Wayne County teams. It's Southern Wayne that struggles pretty bad from year to year. Eastern Wayne is the best of that crew, more years than not. But Conley's rolling again, much like North Pitt, or kind of opposite North Pitt. Lost the first week and have reeled off, 4 or 5 straight since then. The same type of thing, but the defense is playing well. Last week they got a shutout. They got a shutout again a few games ago, right? Or at least they're holding. They held,
forget which team it was, not at 8 points.
Yeah, they're holding teams to lower points. It's not like the first and second week where they were still giving up 40, 50 points and trying to win that way. So that's the big thing to watch and the big thing with the Vikings. That said, again, I think the past 2 or 3 teams they've played, they've really been a big favorite and really kind of overmatched their way to it. This isn't an easy trip. This isn't the most difficult trip in the world. This isn't New Bern or Rose or South Central, but this is the next in line in that conference. You know, going to Eastern Wayne, not a totally easy matchup, but I think Conley wins. Again, I think they're going to have to play better, maybe face a little more adversity than they have the past 2 or 3 weeks, where it's been really easy and kind of a blowout from the start. But I'll take the Vikings to win, and I'm impressed to see how they kind of transition, how this year, you know, progresses a little bit.
Right, and I'm on the other end where you think, you know, looking at last year, they beat Eastern Wayne 42-0, and given the way that they've played so far this year, I don't think this year goes very much different. So I'm keeping it short and sweet. I think the Vikings go on the road and start conference play 1-0 and pick up a win, pretty convincingly. So that's the 4 matchups for this week. Like we said, I'll be out here at Rose on Friday night. Have a report from there. We'll have reports in the paper and at Reflector.com from all 3 of the other games, and we'll be back here next week. I don't know where we'll show. We've only got North Pitt left. We've been to 5 schools now, so
which we have to do with the Country Mart at some point.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Or I'm quitting the show in a month if we're not doing it at the Country Mart.
So we'll probably most likely pop up in Bethel next week. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Enjoy the games Friday night, and we'll see you guys next week.